Philip Coutinho.
Not sure if you can get much more excited, mate, but still buzzing.
Hello, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Thanks for having me on board.
That's right. Obviously, it does sometimes take a while for people to come in and jump in.
For sure, mate. But I reckon I've read every single article I can about future signings and have not stopped watching videos, mate. So pretty exciting times.
Yeah, definitely. And we've also been linked now with the Brighton CDM, which we need one.
Oh, yeah.
With no Nakamba, we definitely need one of them.
Well, what about Hickey, mate? What do you think?
He's definitely one for the future.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
Would you go with him or Digny, or however you pronounce it?
I'd like to get both. I think we need a bit more depth down there, mate.
Yeah. Well, with the left back situation, I don't think Target's been great, has he? Let's be honest.
Well, I think he's been. I'm going to say it. Sorry, it's a pun on my dad, but he's been a target for. I think he's been okay. I think a few more creative players, mate, and he will be given that freedom to overlap again. But probably not his greatest season.
Yeah. No, he was definitely obviously better last season, but he had his mate Jack Grealish helping him, didn't he?
He did. And look, I don't know. He's got a head you'd want to slap as well, but lucky he plays for us.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I'm just a bit. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, if we're going to go to next level, he's going to be a good backup squad player, but he can't be a first team player if we're going to move up the ladder, mate.
Yeah, definitely. It's he was definitely better when there was no fans, wasn't
he? Didn't cop the pressure, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon he's one of those no fans, so he enjoyed the game more.
Well, can I go sideways for 1 second on fans?
Yeah.
Australians are great at giving grief, right? We are fantastic at giving people grief. We are shocking at taking it. So you just have to look at the cricket, right? A fat man makes a century because I'm fat, and the Aussies try and give it to him. But could you imagine if Bairstow and Stokes jump the fence? Aussies are terrible at taking grief. I can promise you that.
Yeah. Why do you support Villa anyway?
Yeah, mate. 6 years old, playing football in Melbourne or soccer in Melbourne as we called it, and everyone was wearing Liverpool and Manchester United tops. And my gaffer, he was only a young bloke. He had a Villa top on, and automatically I just went, "Oh man, it's something different." And then he started teaching me the history, and then a year later we win the European Cup. So I think I got on at the right time.
Yeah, I'd say you did.
You couldn't even watch games in Australia back then. So yeah, but Villa, mate, and will always be Villa. So thanks for having me on anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. My uncle, he lives in Australia now. Well, he's lived in Australia for quite a number of years. But he used to box for Aston Villa. They used to back in like the 80s, early 90s. They used to have like a boxing club in where they boxed for like Aston Villa.
How good's that?
Yeah, and then he was a professional boxer in Australia.
Oh wow! So, okay, I love my boxing, so we'll have to find out a bit more about that down the track.
Yeah, he's So when I was 10, I came to Australia. I went to Sydney, because he was already there, and so this is like 25 years ago now, and he took me to his gym, and he trained with Costa Zoo.
Oh wow!
And I met Costa Zoo. So
Holy dooly. Oh, mate, I tell you what, there's a few people listening in now. If you're not super excited tonight or this morning, what's going on? I'm still buzzing.
Yeah, definitely. Him and Buendia behind the attackers, I reckon.
I mean, Louise is going to be given a bit more freedom, I think Louise has been vilified by a lot of our fan base. I don't know why. I'm not sure what they're expecting from him. We don't have the quality in midfield that a lot of other teams have.
I think it's more because he's not a defensive midfielder. I think he's more of a centre mid rather than a defensive midfielder. Where, like, obviously Nakamba, he was happy to put the tackles in. That was basically his play. That's how he played. Where Luis is he's more flashy, isn't he? He's got more of like passing the ball around and stuff like that.
Well, I'm going to ask you a
I would
question. Who's going to be more excited, Super John McGinn or Watkins, about the signing? Because Watkins is going to get 2 or 3 more chances a game, and McGinn's going to get a bit more freedom and be able to shoot. So I don't know who's going to be more excited out of those two.
Both of them, but I'd also say we both know Coutinho, how he plays, and what he's got in his locker, and creativity wise, I'm going to say, well, this is what I believe anyway. Ings is more likely to get the better out of it if he's got the ball put through to him, if you get what I mean. He's more of a finisher than Ollie Watkins, I'd say.
So how many more players do you think around the world now? Because there's a lot of players entering their last 12 to 18 months of contracts. How many of those players are now going to look to Villa as an option with Gerrard that they wouldn't have looked at a couple of years ago? We're going to hear of players we're not even thinking about who are doing negotiations with Villa right now or at the end of the season. That's what I'm most excited about. I think Coutinho and Gerrard open up the door to other players going, hello, just a sec.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up in level, isn't it?
I just think that's
definitely.
3 or 4 years ago, if you thought this was going to be happening to our club, I think you would have been seriously nuts.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Let's just hope, though, because obviously he hasn't been having the best of time at Barcelona. Let's just hope that he hits the ground running and Gerrard can get the best out of him.
Well, he's got end of contract coming up. He's got big wages. He's got going to a club that has big ambitions. He's mates with the gaffer. He's got everything to play for now. He's not going to come for 6 months and go, yeah, I'm not going to try, because, he's either going to be signed with us at the end of the 6 months or other clubs are going to want to sign him. But if he has a poor 6 months, where's he go from there? So I think he has everything to play for, and I think we should be really positive about the signing. I don't think we're going to get a half-assed Coutinho at all. We're going to get a man who's motivated. Gerrard wouldn't have got him if he wasn't.
I agree. I think Gerrard will motivate him anyway. And back in the Premier League, I think he'll love it, won't he?
Well, absolutely. And hey, we're the number one talking point in almost world football right now. So would have been a fair while since Villa was, the number one trending topic on all different social medias.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the amount of people, like, even at work, couldn't believe it that we signed him. I was like, why not? Why can't you believe it?
Well,
it's happened.
People, I can tell you right now, there's the people in Australia. I'm getting non-stop messages from people of other clubs, and that's the thing. I'm getting mates who follow Arsenal, who follow Leeds, who follow all different clubs, and they're all going, "Wow, this is fantastic for you." So that sentiment won't last long when we start beating some of those teams. But I can tell you from an Australian perspective, it's news everywhere. So Villa's trending, people. Villa's trending.
Well, that's what we like, don't we? Your mate Tes is here now, so you should get him on he should be joining your Australian Villa fan club.
He's a semi-decent man, isn't he? Hey, Tes.
Hey mate,
Yeah,
how are we?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a semi decent man. I'm semi happy. That's a lie. I'm really excited and happy at the moment, considering who we've just signed and everything. Morning, Mike.
Hello, Tess. You alright?
Yeah, good buddy. I haven't been on for
You're
a
not at
couple of
the
weeks.
swimming, are you?
No swimming today because it's the holidays. But I think they go back to
No, still. No, okay.
They go back to school, I think, in the next week or two. Just depends on COVID, actually. For primary schools in Queensland, they might delay kids going back to primary school.
Yeah.
But yeah, no swimming today. So normally that's Saturday mornings at this time. Good to have Paul on here. I've followed Paul on Twitter because I've been trying desperately to find other Villa fans to catch up with and perhaps watch some games with. It's just that the times of the matches at the moment are a little bit strenuous. At the moment, yeah, 3:00 in the morning for some of them for like the 5:30 kick-off. Well, 2:30 in the morning for the 5:30 kickoffs. And then
Did I wake you both up? Did I?
No, I was
for this one.
No, I was awake this morning thinking, "Oh my god, what time Space is on?" And because on the ad we didn't put what time it starts, and then I woke up at
No, I put it on the graphic thing, but I didn't put it. The thing with Twitter is it didn't have enough words, does it? It's a bit annoying.
It should give you more words. I think there's time to upgrade to more words now, and then they can take over Instagram.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's like you try and write a post so you can sell it a bit, but you have to delete things or whatever.
Yeah. So I was just listening then, and I just jumped in at the point of where you were talking about I think you talked about the defensive midfield position, where Dougie should not be playing. Like, he's far better quality further forward. Nakamba is a massive miss at the moment, and who would have thunk it? Hey, couldn't get a game under Dean Smith, and then Gerrard says, "Look, there's a player in here," and apparently what he said to Nakamba was, "When you get the ball, just look up and start seeing who's available." And that's just turned his game into a different thing because he was always athletic. He was always, could get a challenge in. Sometimes a little bit rash, but his passing ability is what everyone was, upset about. Like, he gets the ball, he doesn't know what to do with it. And all of a sudden, Gerrard comes in and there's just a whole different dynamic to Nakamba. And then now he's out of the team where we were playing really well, allowing the attacking players to play, like Douglas Luiz impressing everyone. John McGinn getting to play in a more familiar role. He's out, and now we've been in trouble since Nakamba's been out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure.
So
my favourite player.
Yeah, it was amazing. Where I was saying that every time he got to play, I think we talked about the Spaces one time. Every time Nakamba got to play, he was good. Like, he played well, and then the next game he'd be dropped. Dino would drop him the next game, and you just think he's not even getting a run in of games, and then he does onto Gerrard. He's just come in and been really amazing, and now he's one of the players that we miss most. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But now that we've got our boy Coutinho for the rest of the year, for the season, I think Ollie Watkins and especially Danny Ings, I think, will be super, super happy with that, depending on who gets the more game time. Because I think Danny Ings is a better finisher than Ollie.
Yep. I agree.
And I think he's a little bit more cute as well. So Danny Ings, when it comes to, you've seen him play for Southampton, all these teams, and when he played for Liverpool briefly and Burnley, and you give him the right balls in the right spaces and he can put them away. For us at the moment, I think our problem is that we're having trouble with that final ball in the final third. And I think this is a gap that Coutinho can bridge. Like the creativity side that he has is unbelievable. To see a run where one, whether Danny Ings or Ollie Watkins are making those runs, he's one of those that will see it and be able to give them that, precision ball. But if he doesn't though, what he can do is he can drop that shoulder and use them as take all those players away from me, and I'll do something else with the ball. I'll put it in the back of the net, or I'll win the free kick or something like that.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on
absolutely. Sorry, guys. I think it also means that we can use Ings and Watkins as decoys as well at different times and really confuse a lot of the defences. They're not going to know who's going to make the run, and that's what the best teams do. They have 3, 4, 5 options, and then you're going to have obviously McGinn sitting just outside the box again instead of sitting deep. So there's going to be a lot of options. It's going to be hard to cover us in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. 100%. What are you thinking, Mike? Mike's muted.
Sorry, I was just I pressed this button and I couldn't get back on here to unmute
it. Is Ivan here? Let's get Ivan.
He is here.
Let's get Ivan.
He is here, but I'll invite him to speak if he wants.
Yeah, we miss Ivan. And is Joe not coming today?
I don't know. He's a bit. I can't remember the last time you came on. To be fair, Joe.
Oh, well, I was away for a couple of weeks as well, and we were really excited to get Paul on because I was saying, we've got an Aston Villa supporter here in Brisbane. I'm in Brisbane, and we should try and get him on to have a chat because he's got a group of Villa fans wherever they are. So I need to find them, Paul. So you can just let me know.
We'll spread it out for you. Unfortunately, most Villa fans in Australia are Sydney-based. The Brisbane groups, most of our pubs now are, with COVID the last couple of years, have stopped even playing a lot of the games. So I don't know if you go to the Pig and Whistle at all.
I haven't been anywhere.
In the city?
No, I haven't been anywhere.
Okay. So. Pig and Whistle is the home of football in Queensland. So we've got one in Queen Street Mall and there's one Riverside. And that's where all the Premier League games are played, mate. So we'll get something going there at some stage for sure.
No worries. I'll send you a DM and drop you my number and stuff. I'm based in Nunda, so I'm not too far away from the city at the moment.
We'll definitely do it, guys. If I could turn to some of our potential defensive signings because we are a bit bare there, and just how that will actually influence us further up the field. I think if we can get a few more defenders, we're going to have that confidence going forward that we haven't had the past couple of years. So we were talking earlier about potentially Hickey coming to us, and there's a couple other players. And I think it's very likely our next couple of signings will be defensive players. And while they're not sexy, I think they're very much going to open up a lot of opportunities up forward.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think this is an area which I don't feel we addressed in the summer and needed to be addressed. And when you say defensive, I also think and obviously that one defensive midfielder spot, which we've been crying out for a couple of seasons. Aaron Hickey would be a decent signing because he's young. He's got that energy. He's a good talent. And it's a good time to bring in a young player into this squad amongst all the other young under-23 players that we currently have. If I'm not mistaken, I was just reading Sky Sports and Kane Kessler's having a ball and having Gabriel Jesus in his pocket. I can't wait to see that young boy come back to the Villa and start playing. Somebody posted a clip of him taking the ball off Gabriel Jesus while he's on the run, then holding up the ball and then doing a little trick to confuse him and then lay the ball off. And I was just like, we need that composure, that type of defender for us at the moment, instead of the ones that are, bombing forward and don't have the actual pace to get back and do a defensive job.
I'm so happy you say that, because it's hard to know how many of our all the under 23s that you hear about are either attacking. They're generally the attacking players we're hearing, and you don't hear a lot in Australia of the defensive guys coming through. So I was actually going to put that to you, or anyone else listening who wants to speak up. Any under 23s coming through besides that for us?
They've just recalled a bunch of them, I think. So Dominic Ravon was meant to be one of our promising young centre-backs. I don't know if he was at the under 18s or the under 23s, but there was always good reports about him. And we saw him do a great job against Liverpool, if we remember rightly, when we had to play our kids' squad against them, and I think it was in the League Cup.
Yep.
Or something like that. So there's not many, is my understanding, that are ready. Obviously, we had the young 16-year-old. I forgot what his name was, but there was a young 16-year-old boy who was a centre-back on the bench the other day because we were down to bare bones, basically, against Brentford. He didn't get to play, but he's he's on the bench because he's probably one of the most promising centre-backs. But I don't feel like we have a lot. I feel like we have more midfielders and attacking players that are really, really good. And saying that, I think there was a game recently where the under-23s played, and I think they played Birmingham, and they were Sanson or Trezeguet got to come back in that game, but they were winning 3-0, and then all of a sudden it was 3-all, which showed the defensive qualities of the young players. Because if you're 3-0 up, it means that your attacking quality is fine, but then if you can't maintain that in defence, then there's something, not to say that they're rubbish, but there's naivety there and probably not ready for Premier League football, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I just want to also say about Coutinho, if we could go back, there's going to be people aiming up at us if he doesn't have a good 6 months. But I hope people are positive, really positive about it, even if he has a couple of bad games, for this simple reason. Barcelona are playing, I think, 50-odd% of his wage. We have the ability at the end of 6 months to sign him or not sign him. So we've got the exclusive rights from everything I'm reading to sign or not sign. So I can't see anything but positive. As you said, we're getting people speak about us around the world. He's an exciting attacking player who's got something to prove. And really, we're paying 50% of one of the great players on his best in the world. It's one of the great signings I can remember in many, many years for us.
Definitely, it has to definitely be up there with the best, some of the best signings we've made. And I guess it's not just in terms of the type of signing; it's the brand of signing as well, right? So before, when we signed, we spent record money on people like Darren Bent. I mean, it was Premier League news, but not any news anywhere else. No one's talking about it. No one cares. We signed Emi Buendia for 30-odd million. And it's Premier League news, but, not many people are excited about it. We buy Leon Bailey from Germany, but it's almost local news in terms of the stature of the signing. Coutinho's on a whole different level. Champions League winner, winning 63 caps. Don't make me start doing Steven Gerrard. 63 caps for Brazil, two Copa del Reys, whatever they are, and 2 league titles with Barcelona. Played for Bayern Munich as well. Like top player, international world-class player. I don't think I think the last person that was even close to that sort of might have been David Ginola or someone like that. Like with that big name sort of. But at that time, I think he was playing for teams like Newcastle and Spurs and stuff, so it wasn't that big. But this is a whole different thing. This has just put Villa onto where we need to be. It's a statement signing. We're saying that we can afford.
Just tell me there's not agents out there right now going, oh, hello, a lot of money to spend. They don't have debt. They've got a good youth squad. They've got Coutinho there. Oh, maybe I'll shop around some of my players. Don't tell me that is not happening right now and would not have been happening 6 months ago. And please don't think I'm putting down Dean Smith, because I'm not, because he did wonderful things for us. And I don't think people should ever sledge him. But we would not not have got a player like Coutinho under Dean Smith. That's a fact.
Well, Dean Smith, before coming to Villa, was a championship manager in the lower leagues. And what he had an opportunity to do is, with all the good work that he did at Brentford and other clubs, he was able to actually come to the club of his dreams, which was the team that he supported as a boy, where his dad was a steward. He was able to come there and manage the team from the championship and had a remit of getting Villa within the next couple of years into the Premier League and establishing ourselves in the Premier League. And he did that early. So no one can ever take that away from him. Also, the fact that we went on that unbeaten run for such a long time under Dean Smith was another massive achievement that shouldn't go unnoticed. But he's been part of a journey. And the journey we would not be where we are today without Dean Smith as a manager of our team. He was instrumental in the way that we played. He was instrumental in when things were going bad for us, the way that he turned it around after Project Restart or whatever it was. And some of the games were not the best to watch, but he had the team fighting to stay in the Premier League, and he did that job. He also got an opportunity to take us forward again after that to improve, and I think we did improve that season where we went, was it 11th or something? I think it was 11th or 12th I think we got. I can't remember. But then the signings that we made just recently, he didn't get to play all of them all together at one time, which was tough because we brought those players in to improve the squad so that the squad could kick on and go and aim to get into Europe. I think that unfortunately that some of those players weren't fit all at the same time. There was COVID, and I feel like I don't know this, but I feel like when I was watching the team, there was a bit of motivation gone. They looked tired. Defensively, we've got a free kick specialist, which is meant to be great for attacking, but we were only doing long balls from Matty Cash, and we were conceding a bunch of goals from set pieces, which didn't make sense because we had the set piece specialist. And I think losing the 5 games in the bounce, if we think about continuous progression and plus the end of last season, the fact is that we weren't performing well enough. We were starting to go into a hole. And what happens is if you start to get into that hole, as you can see, like Newcastle, Norwich, Burnley, and those sorts of teams, if you get into that hole and get stuck in the rut, it's really difficult to get out of it. I think we found that when we got relegated down to the Championship, we were in such a bad place that it was just difficult to get anything out of any of the players. Obviously, there were bad decisions made by the people at the top, but when the players are down, it's really hard to pick them back up again. And I just felt that Dean Smith had done his job. I was definitely Dean in. I wanted him to stay. But after he'd left, I was really disappointed because I felt like he could have turned it around. However, Purslow being Purslow, what he has done, in fairness to him, is he's called it and said, look, we can't afford the team to go in a rut. We're meant to be aiming for Europe in the next 5 years. This is our plan. And in order to do that plan, we probably need to make some changes. Steven Gerrard was doing a good job in Scotland, and I feel like he's got onto him. He knows about him. He's seen him before. He's worked with him. And he's like, this is an opportunity for this guy who's a born leader. He can come in, make some changes, and give us a different style of football. He's got international experience. He also has European experience in terms of Champions League as a player and as a coach. And Dean Smith didn't. So this is a whole new level of experience that we've gone for. Yes, he's young in his years of management, but he does have all these different kinds of experiences. So I think it was the right thing to do. I don't think anyone should have anything bad to say about Dean Smith. He was part of a journey, part of the Villa journey. He will always be part of that Villa journey because he did such a great job. But we did have to, now that I look back, we did have to make a change, and the change was for the better, because we can also start to attract world-class players who know who Steven Gerrard is.
So will we get will Firmino come to us? Am I allowed to dream?
You're definitely allowed to dream. Firmino's a great player, but I don't see where he would fit in at Villa at the moment.
That's actually an amazing statement if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, well, because you've got to think about like what the club are not trying to do. From what I'm gathering, is they're not trying to go out there and just pick up players now because they're really making targeted moves. I felt like getting Buendia was a targeted move. I felt like Leon Bailey was a targeted move. And Danny Ings was, for some reason, I don't think was a Dean Smith signing. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it was a Perslow signing because there was a way to get Danny Ings to the club quickly, cheaply, without any dramas, and he was a proven goal scorer. And it was a way of trying to get Villa fans on the side to say, yeah, we've sold Grealish for 100 million. But look what we've got now. We've got a proven goal scorer here. We've got a really young, exciting talent who we brought in from Germany. And we've got Emi Buendia, who's got, 15 goals and 16 assists in the Championship and blah, 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 and can do it at this level. That's what I was thinking as those targeted moves. But now I feel like they're looking at, if we're looking at Aaron Hickey, we're looking at solidarity for the next couple of years defensively, somebody who can compete with Matt Targett, because to be frankly, he doesn't really have the competition and he really needs it. And my understanding is we're looking at people like Yves Bissouma, which would be a decent buy, a targeted buy, because that's a position we specifically need. Whether it's possible to have two players that go to AFCON every year as defensive midfielders, I'm not sure that would be the right move, because that could potentially put you in a bit of a problem. But then, in saying that, if it's for the here and now and they want to do that piece of business, maybe a good one. I think he's probably a bit better than Nakamba, and also it would take us up until the summer transfer window where we can definitely see players going and more improved players coming in. I don't know if that...
I think we're in the right position right now that come this transfer window, we have the ability to get players that a club like Newcastle can't get because they're in a relegation battle, right? And come the end of the season, Newcastle's going to be very well positioned if they stay up to get a lot of players that we would have been looking for. So I think we're in the right window now to be shopping around. And I hate to say this for any Newcastle mates, but Newcastle, if they do go down, is going to be good for us because they are going to be very much competing with more money for the players we want.
Yeah. I find Newcastle a real difficult one, right? Because a lot of people talk about how big that club is. My personal opinion, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but I don't think Newcastle are a big club. I think they have a big fan base, an important fan base, and some of the best supporters that I've ever seen. But I don't think Newcastle is a big club at all. I don't see anything in my lifetime really that suggests that they are a big club that have dominated anywhere in Europe. I mean, they've been close to a Premier League, I think, before. There's nothing about Newcastle that says to me big club. In terms of comparisons, I don't think we should be comparing ourselves in terms of the ability to sign players with Newcastle. We're on par with the people like Arsenal of these days, in my opinion. For example, I posted on Twitter yesterday that, we don't be upset that we didn't get Emile Smith-Rowe, because at the moment, Emile Smith-Rowe is sitting on the bench at Arsenal when they promised him first-team football all the time, and we offered them decent money for him, and now we're going to get people like Coutinho. That's who I think we should be balancing our decisions on transfers, not with teams like Newcastle, but with more of the
Well,
Arsenal.
Newcastle was more about the money. I agree with the Arsenal side, but Newcastle does have a lot of money right now,
and so do our owners. They also have a lot of money and a lot of pulling power. But Newcastle, like Manchester City, are in a position where they don't have the international fan base which would help them with their financial fair play. So they have to be pretty careful about how they're spending their money. So they do have a lot of it. And if anything, relegation might be a good thing for them because they get to start again. And they could probably go and buy, 3 of the best players in the Championship and from League One to improve their squad and then come back up. And then they'll be in a position to, like Villa did. What did we do? We bought a couple of the best players that were around in the Championship. Unfortunately, their manager at the time wasn't.
The problem with that is that Newcastle are going to go down potentially as the richest club. Villa never did that.
No.
Villa went down with a foresight of we need to come back up, but we need to spend cumulatively. Newcastle at the moment are attracting people like Kieran Trippier, who were in the Champions League, who were in a competition to win La Liga, who've looked at where they could go as a final paycheck, and they've gone to Newcastle. There's no commitment, there's no loyalty. Kieran Trippier is looking at that as a final paycheck. He's 31. Yeah, he's an England right back, but he's in competition for a competitive place that he's never going to get. He's never going to earn that place. So you've got Newcastle attracting players at exasperated prices. Kieran Trippier, would you pay that for him? I wouldn't.
Absolutely not.
And Newcastle are just unfortunately in the wrong place with the right money. Newcastle are going to go down because they're going to attract so many players that just want money. So a player that's going to cost you 20 million is going to cost you 45 million because they're going to look at it and go, yeah, please, I'll have all that money. I'll go down. I'll take that money. And in my contract, I'll work myself out of it. And I feel sorry for them, but they're not a super club. They're not a club that they claim to be, this massive club that deserve everything. They don't deserve everything, but they have got a big fan base, and I feel sorry for them. But you can't just go down and expect to come back up. We didn't. We went down and we were on the hallows of getting liquidated. It was only for finite management, very good investment and very good planning that we've managed to come back up. We were so close to doing a derby.